know how to.
Okay.
I don't know how I stumble upon it every time.
Facebook is live.
Oh. How do I get to it? Do. There it is. Hi everybody. Let's see. Oh, let me open the wine. Let's see, how do I? Are you sure it's live?
Yeah.
Okay.
On both of them.
I don't know how it pops up.
Yeah, say something offensive and see what happens to you.
Yeah. See how.
Do you see? Did it pop up on yours?
No.
It's not
Oh,
popping
you know
on
what?
here.
We can actually try.
Oh, here it goes. Yeah, there you go. Well, there I am. Selfie. We're starting soon, everybody. Can Abby introduce us and we come through there like that?
And there she is.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm
dun.
back.
Hey, Abby.
Yes.
Should I go put on one of those?
No.
Yeah, please.
No.
Oh.
I just wouldn't
You have
look
2
nice
minutes.
in something Philly and lacy. I tried, but it just
There's
didn't work.
28 people on already. So
Oh,
you
hi
guys-
everybody. We're getting set up still. You get a
That is
pre-sneak.
29.
Pre-sneak
29 on
preview.
it.
Am I allowed to use this?
Yeah, but don't stand right in front of the camera. Where's the microphone? It's like,
You know we're live,
Abby,
right?
we're live.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time we did live boobs with Wilson Creek.
See, oh, there goes HR emails coming up right now.
Now there'll be 75 people on.
Oh, shit. Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden, it's just like popping up, like all these people.
All you need to do is say boobs. The internet responds.
You guys are live.
Yeah, yeah.
Abby's, there's Abby's.
So back up.
No, it's a little delayed.
All right, folks, we're starting soon. Hang tight.
We got 36 people already on,
Oh, already?
on Facebook.
18 on Instagram.
Somebody says I'm.
Everybody give us a thumbs up if you're getting the volume good and everything. If you could hear us, give us a thumbs up.
Looking good. I'm thirsty.
Me too. Been one of those days.
Abby!
Somebody
Sean Pastina.
Oh, hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Power root.
Oh, I see you now.
Oh, you can sit over here.
Oh no, I'm looking in front of the.
Okay, so how do I look out like that?
Just
Go behind and look out that door?
however you want. However you want to come around this way.
Greg, let's do the spring white, the GSM, and then we'll finish with the sweet limoncello. Does that sound good?
And popping bottles.
Oh snap! I'll do that one like that. Product placement. Let's put a couple corks right there.
Can I say anything? Oh.
Say
Okay,
no more.
it's
All right.
4:59.
All right. We're gonna make an entrance. Introduce us because we're when you're ready. And then
Well, do you want me to say my stuff and then I'll say
yeah,
it?
that's it. Ryan Craig.
Okay.
How much stuff?
Stand back a little, Abby.
Like negative.
Stand back, like in between those two chairs. There you go.
Everything's like, no.
Okay, you can go.
Good afternoon. Gosh, Temecula is having a beautiful day today. The weather is stunning and the guests are fine, and we're so happy to welcome you here tonight. Whether you're with us on Instagram or you're watching us virtually, let you know that we are doing a tasting today of 3 of our delectable spring whites. One is called the Spring White. One is called GSM, which is one of my favorite reds. And then we have our tasty and delicious new Limoncello. So these wines are going to be perfect for your springtime. And with that,
It's a pretty advanced technique, so you got to be there to watch it.
All right.
It's like babying it. So Gus is stuck in front of a filter, probably drinking beer.
At least he has a
Pabst
filter.
Blue
You need a
Ribbon.
filter, I think.
I do need a filter. Yes.
So Abby did a great job explaining everything, and we're gonna make this really short and sweet. But we are so excited.
Considering
that,
we have spring white and the limoncello, is that a joke?
yeah, that is part of the joke. But we're bringing you our hand selected wines that we think are perfect for the spring. And spring is in the air now. It's getting really exciting. If you guys haven't been here to the property, it's starting to warm up a little bit. And we're opening late nights on Friday and Saturday starting really soon. So we're really excited about that as the weather's turning. So we're going to be bringing you these wines that you can either bring to your house or and enjoy them on the patio or enjoy them here at the winery. So you ready to go?
Ready to go. Mentioning spring, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the vineyard.
Oh, yeah.
This is the
Vineyard
beginning
talk.
of the vineyard season.
I like it.
We just finished pruning. Pruning is probably the most important operation we do all year long.
Yeah.
What we have to do is we take a look at every block and every vine and see how that vine is done over the last, however long it's been here, 8, 12, 30 years, and judge how the health of the soil and the health of the vine. You always want to sort of push your vines to like 80, 90% of what you think they can do. Sort of like your kids.
Yeah.
You tell them you're doing 120%, but you're actually pushing them to about 80, 90% because you don't want
I'm not
to
that good of a parent.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been really regional here.
Yeah.
We're not at bud break yet, which is a good thing. Bud break is when the green leaf first emerges. And the reason that's such a critical stage is that's the first time that frost will actually kill a vine.
Yeah.
We generally
They're really vulnerable at that time.
They're really
right?
vulnerable
Yeah.
at that point. We generally get first bud break a freeze to the sap.
Oh, good.
A little bit of sugar in the sap. So it's the same
There's
reason.
no antifreeze used.
Yeah,
in our
so
wine,
it's
by the way.
well, it's the same reason why slushies work, right? You can try and freeze them, but there's a little alcohol and sugar in there.
Yeah.
Well, this is just sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it gives it a little freeze protection, and some of the minerals give it some protection. It can metabolize.
So how is all that process that you're doing? How is that going to help us when we get to where we are now?
So with the good, so we've had some chill days. Bud break is kind of right on schedule, which means are going to reach their physiological stages right when they should,
Perfect.
right when the soil biology is ready, right when the micronutrients, sort of everything's unfolding this year pretty much on time. I'm concerned about the lack of water. It probably means it'll be a really good vintage, just a little lower volume.
Okay, so less grapes on the vine, but better quality. Better
In
quality.
general, yeah, in general.
So better quality is always something that we're looking for. So that would work out.
Yeah, and we shoot for low quantity, high.
Just to get everybody all confused, but this is a perfect wine for the spring.
So this is the backbone on this is Chardonnay. It's the backbone of kind of a lot of these whites. The reason being is Chardonnay is what's called a neutral grape. Chardonnay itself doesn't actually have that much flavor or that much aroma, but it has really nice body and it has really nice structure to it.
Yeah.
So with Chardonnay, you can sort of build something on top of it. The classic on this is Viognier and Muscat. Viognier is just kind of all over. It's aromatic, it's acidic, it's kind of all over the place, but a straight Viognier can be a little intense.
Right.
The Chardonnay kind of mellows it out a little bit. Then you add a little bit of Muscat, and the Muscat is almost overly aromatic. It's almost overly sweet to the palate. It's almost a little much, but when you blend those together, you get this really nice combination. This one actually has a little bit of Riesling in it. It was just a super nice Riesling that we had in the tank. This Riesling was sweet and well-rounded. It had that kind of fresh berry flavor to it. And so it just looked like it was going to go in really good with this.
So we snuck it in.
We snuck it in at the end. And there was something else I think we put in there.
A little bit of Roussanne, which isn't on the tech notes, but
yes.
there's a little bit of Roussanne in here too.
Roussanne is almost the mirror image of Viognier.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, I pick my Roussanne when most of my reds are already in the tank.
Is that right? So you pick it like a red.
Yes, it's like a red. It has thick skins. You can skin ferment it a little bit. It doesn't give up its color, but it gives up the thiols and it gives up some of the components that give wine density and thickness.
Perfect. So we got a lot going on here. Everybody knows that there's Chardonnay, or that, if you picked up the bottle, you would see that there is Chardonnay and Viognier and Muscat. But we know from Greg's insight that there's a couple of other varietal speculum in here, and I think this makes a great spring white wine. Yeah. The aromatics, that, like Greg said, the few grapes that are known for having great aromatics, and you can smell them. If you smell this wine, are the little bit of Riesling, Muscat, and Viognier are just really world-renowned for those and known to have strong aromatics.
So what's interesting about the nose on this one? In a blind tasting, if you smell green apple, it's a dead giveaway. You got a Chardonnay, right?
Right.
The southern Chardonnays we have here are actually really light. So most of the Chardonnays you're going to get on a blind tasting generally tend to be more northern acidic-driven Chardonnays, or Chardonnay with a little bit of American oak in it.
Yeah.
This obviously has American oak too, but it has that green apple quality that I don't always pick up in our Chardonnays.
Oh, so do you think we
But-
picked it a little early?
I'm picking up. No, I think what's happening is the Viognier is supporting
Oh,
that
that's
little
really
bit
interesting.
of green apple that never quite makes it out on the nose.
Well, I get really like a green apple Jolly Rancher kind of
Yep.
nose to it.
a little lychee.
If you remember lychee, yep.
Not leeches.
Not
lychee.
lychees, lychee. But just great aromatics. I mean, this just smelling this, and I know you guys are like, drink the stuff, but losing us a little bit. But I think just smelling this just brings me back to just like, white flowers and just
Yeah.
being outdoors and sunshine. So
Shall
we shall. I'm surprised we haven't drank yet.
We've only got 3 wines. We got to stretch.
I
this out
know
a little
we're
bit.
slowing down, and
Oh, this-
we like to talk a lot. So
So the spring whites in the past have been a little bit kind of light and sweet.
yeah.
This has thickness. It has density. It has that mouthfeel.
Yeah, which I would attribute to mainly that Chardonnay that was aged a little bit in oak, and the Viognier and Roussan add a little bit of add
and the
body
Roussan-
as well.
Yeah, I think it's the Roussan that's really adding that
Is
dense.
it?
But yeah, but you're picking up, so your olfactory senses are picking up that oak in the Chardonnay.
Yeah.
But then your tongue is picking up that Roussan.
Yeah,
So Roussan, so of course, the king of this is Muscat.
Yeah.
You can just taste Muscat on your
Yeah.
tongue. It's almost like drinking jam. It's got
one
that-
of the oldest varietals in the world, by the way, Muscat.
Yes.
So it's been
Kevin
around
says
for
he tastes roses.
roses. Oh, I could
tastes or smells.
Roses.
roses. Okay, I could see that more like a white rose. I would say usually when you're tasting roses, more of a deep dark rose. I would associate that with red wines, but I definitely get like that white rose kind of white flower aromatic and taste to it.
Yeah,
Good call.
this tastes just like the wild roses in Joshua Tree National Park in the third wash off the parking lot when it's almost blooming.
I was about to say that.
It's perfect.
I was about to say this exact same. No,
Yeah.
I've never.
No,
done
actually,
that.
I do get that little bit of rose petal.
You did.
You know
yeah.
what? Well, it tastes like a rose water extract. You know, those
Rose water, yeah.
tastes like rose water.
Yeah, it does. But just really delightful, really easy drinking, but with intriguing mouthfeel because of these varietals that were put together. I think this has a hint of sweetness to it, but it's not overbearingly sweet, so it's very
No.
easy to just kick back and drink and not feel like you're, on a sugar high from it.
Yep.
It's really easy as far as that's concerned.
For those folks who liked the spring white in the past, it tended to be lighter and sweeter and a little more playful. This is a little less sweet,
Yeah,
a little heavier on the palate, and a little more thoughtful.
I think so. That thoughtful is a really good way out to
Yeah,
say it.
it's got nice structure. It's got a really nice initial approach. The finish on this is really nice.
Yeah. So, what in addition to drinking it outside on its own, what would you pair this with?
Normally I would go with like Thai food or Mexican food because
Okay.
of the sweetness,
Just a
and
little
bit
sweetness.
of muscat.
Yeah, cuts
Not
that
so
heat.
much on this. I think this. I actually think we have 2 wines here that might fit a niche in wine pairing that's really hard, and that's salads and dishes with fruits.
Yeah.
Salads are a challenge because oftentimes it has vinegar and the acid
Oh, yeah.
throws it off. Not that this is really acidic, but I think it would hold up to that. So like a salad with fruit or a papaya salad
Yeah.
or anything like that.
You know what I was thinking? Exactly what you're saying. I was thinking of like an Asian salad with
Yeah.
those little mandarin oranges in it, and like what are those little like wonton crisp things?
I think they're called wonton crisps.
Okay, yeah. Well, then that's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
So Pat Reynolds is asking.
Hi, Pat.
He says, "I love your Sunset Serenade.
Hey, Pat.
How does it differ from your Spring White?"
So the Sunset Serenade is also Chardonnay based, but it's on the drier side. This actually has similar varietals put together, a few more varietals than the Sunset Serenade. I think the Sunset Serenade is more Chardonnay heavy, so you really get that Chardonnay taste and feel to this. This one you get a hint of it, but you also get a lot of that muscat, I think, and that you're tasting in the Viognier.
So the Sunset Serenade has some cabinet too, right?
No, it's a white. It's Chardonnay based and has Gewürztraminer.
Oh, Gewürz is the
yeah.
Oh, okay, now I remember.
So-
So here's part of the difference because I was trying to remember which one of those we left on the skins. That's why that color came out.
Yeah.
And it's the Gewürztraminer. The Gewürztraminer had a lot of color, and we didn't want to filter it out. So
Thanks, Matt.
Gewürztraminer is not. Yeah. Thanks. That was a great question. The Gewürzt is not a grape that we normally do because we tend to be more Rhone prone.
Rome prone. I like that. I need a T-shirt.
Yeah, but the Gewürz here. I mean, normally with Gewürztraminers, you get more northern Gewürztraminers. They're a little more acidic. They're very kind of classically Gewürztraminer. It's another grape that I think finds a unique home in this warm climate.
Yeah.
It
And
gets-
we do have a little bit of that Sunset Serenade. I'm just looking at it here. We're in the reserve room that's about to open soon. But the Sunset Serenade is kind of a little. I get it. I take it even a little more seriously than the Viognier and Chardonnay. A little drier. We're gonna have it up here served with the flights here, and I think the Spring White's just more playful. Even
Yep.
it's thoughtful but playful. So that's how I kind of distinguish the two.
That's how I'm described often.
I'm all over the place. I haven't
You
even
are.
started drinking yet. All right, let's start drinking. All right, you ready for the next one? Are you still drinking that?
I'm really enjoying this.
I
one.
know, it's really good.
And it's springtime.
The
and
spring. You can always tell in the tasting room when a wine is just, hitting a niche with people. The Spring White, we can't even keep it, we bring it in every week in our order from our warehouse, and it's been selling out every weekend. So we know we're onto something good. This is a type of wine that the majority of all you wine club members like, and that the guests that are here really enjoy.
Yeah, a couple things about how you could use this wine. This is a really nice picnic wine. This is just a wine.
That's
you
a
could
great
take on a
explanation,
picnic.
yeah.
It's if you have a little food, it'll hold up to do like a really strong cheddar or something, but it'll hold up to a lot of cheeses. This is also a wine that if you are going somewhere and you're going to bring a bottle of wine, most people think about bringing a bottle for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
It's sometimes nice to bring a chilled bottle for before dinner.
Yeah.
And this is a really nice aperitif wine. It's just
I think
glass
that's a
of
great,
wine.
yeah. Not
Yeah.
overpowering, just ready, like
Not
a
overpowering.
palate cleanser.
Some wines, especially if you're a wine geek like you, the wine has so much complexity that.
The Reds,
And could you imagine what we would do if we didn't work here?
yeah, we'd be wine club members. Wendy, yeah.
One more quick question about what is the reason that Spring White was a bit more complex and thicker than the previous year?
It had to do with the grape varietal selection. So in the past, it was predominantly Chardonnay, which is very thin, and Viognier, which is thin and acidic. With the addition of the Riesling has something called thiols, which is a similar chemical component to what the Muscat has, but is at much higher levels. Riesling also has this unique sweetness to it. It's not that flowery sweet of Muscat. It's more like honey sweet.
Yeah, so it has just a hint of that Riesling, but I think it really shows through. And the Muscat,
really
I would
shows
say,
through.
gives that complexity. I think, to Greg's point, that. Oh, hi, Robert.
Bowler.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
Hi, Robert.
Hey, Robert. Nice to hear from you. Should come join us sometime.
He's living in Europe now.
Oh, he is.
So it's like, what, 2 a.m. there?
Well, squeeze us. Send some wine, please.
All right. So if you're familiar with Europe at all, you've heard of a region or an area called Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is famous in the Rhone region of
I
France.
believe it's pronounced Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
The Pape. And it's one of the funnest places
Get
to
your
say.
French down, please, sir.
But the blend that we're about to drink here is called GSM, and you might be more familiar with that name. But these three grapes together are famous in that area of famous lands in France, Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So
Yes.
the headliner in this is Grenache, followed by Syrah, and then Mourvedre. Or I just learned from Marty, the French way to say Mourvedre is not with the R-E, but Mourvèdre. So Mourvèdre. And
I think you just kind of go duh at the end.
the French way.
Mourvèdre.
French fries.
Yes.
How do I say? Okay.
Okay.
So these Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, or Mourvèdre are the three grapes that make this blend, and they've been made for hundreds and thousands of years. And we bring it here, and we actually got a 90 points on Wine Enthusiast 2 vintages ago on this in the 2016, and this is the 2018 GSM. All right.
So this is a little bit like literally a Tour de France.
Is it?
So we're looking at Chardonnay, classic northern. There are some more southern, Chardonnays in France, but
Yeah.
predominantly a northern grape. Muscat, kind of all over the place. Roussanne, definitely a
Oh,
southern.
yeah, we're going.
No, I'm just comparing to this.
Oh, I see.
And Viognier, generally a little more northern.
Oh, yeah.
We've now gone south. So
In that Rhone Valley, right?
Yeah, in the Rhone Valley.
Mm-hmm.
We've now gone south, and we're in the transition zone between relatively cool and pretty hot. You're starting to get into the Mediterranean climate, which is what's so unique about France. I mean, France goes from a pretty cold climate to something that's pretty warm in a really narrow
Like
area.
a Mediterranean, it starts getting Mediterranean the further south you go.
Yeah, I mean, the Champenoise region is cold.
Yeah.
They frost and hail is a big problem for them, but not so much in Provence.
Right.
Which Provence is a little more like this. But as you head south, you start to get Spanish Tinto, Grenache. It's a lighter wine. It's it's just.
But high alcohol. So all of you that
But
like
high
high
alcohol.
alcohol, Grenache is great for all of you.
Yeah. Okay. So much for the bad finish. That's a great finish. You're high as a kite.
The Grenache isn't known for like an incredibly long finish in this, but it does have the high alcohol actually carries a lot of the flavors from the other varietals, and that's what makes the blend so cool. The Syrah that has a deeper, richer flavor, and the Mourvedre, which is that finish that it lacks. The alcohol actually carries it like a blanket across the whole palate, so that's why they dance together really well. All right, so
Mid palate. You can drink. I'll talk.
all right, keep going.
Mid palate. Syrah. Syrah is just known for being like this solid workhorse grape. It tends to also come on a little bit strong in the beginning, but it has this amazing mid palate. I don't know of very many grapes that hold that mid palate. So what we're talking about is wines classically have this kind of shape like this. It should have a decent approach. You should get flavors. It should build. And then that mid palate is how long it holds in your palate. But then the finish is what we talk about a lot.
I kind of always use the analogy like a good story like has a good beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Like, or a good book, and that's kind of
Right, and it shouldn't be like a joke,
Yeah.
which is all in the front and then
yeah, that's like me.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that mid palate isn't something you get out of a lot of grapes.
No.
You actually get this, but what I love is the Grenache like gently hands it off to the Syrah.
Oh, okay, good.
And then the Syrah is taking this mid palate, and the Grenache and the Syrah kind of dance together, and you're really not tasting the influence of the Mourvedre until the very end.
There you go. Okay.
And then the Grenache kind of just steps away, and then the Mourvedre and the Syrah starts to fade, and you get these incredible complex dark fruit, mulberry, blackberry, incredible dark fruit flavors. And Mourvedre takes on oak in a different way than Syrah does. The Syrah, the oak tastes like oak. In the Mourvedre, it makes the tannins and the skins of the Mourvedre just really deep.
Everything you said, I tasted while I was drinking.
Yeah, well,
And the more I drank, the more it sounded like I could taste this. I think, with Syrah, the big thing with Syrah, Grenache doesn't have that tannin structure that Syrah has. And so that it really attributes to that mid palate, which gives you that like bang of black fruit, that bang of tannin, and it's kind of like that tannin you feel in the top of your mouth too. What I really like about Syrah, and then Mourvedre is like this, or Mourvedre is like this underlying kind of like night that comes across and takes it home. And I really enjoy this blend wherever you get it, but especially here. I think it's we make this blend really well. We grow all these, we have all these grapes in our repertoire, and you guys kill it every year with this wine.
from a viticultural perspective, they're similar in some ways. Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre are all really large clustered varietals.
Oh, really?
The Grenache has a very large berry with light skin. The Syrah has really big clusters with really thick skin but much smaller berries.
Yeah.
And the Mourvedre is kind of right in between, but the clusters are huge.
Cool.
The challenge with Mourvedre is it's a little bit like having two kids in the backseat of your station wagon.
Yeah.
If they touch, they'll get mold. So when you're pruning your Mourvedre, you need to be
I have
careful.
twins. When they don't clean their room
Yeah.
and they're too close, it
They
gets moldy in there too. Yeah.
Did they ever just switch rooms and say the other one didn't clean it?
Yeah.
But Mourvedre is, I used to call it my trouble child, and it still is. Now that we've got a biological system going, it's actually a little more cooperative.
That's really exciting that you had that biological thing going too.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the change of what's going on. I've been here 8 years in the vineyard now, and we've had a really intense biological program for about 5 of those, and a couple of my blocks I've just really poured it on for 3. And I'm seeing a lot of changes.
Good.
For example, we put a cover crop in this year, and we only got 2 inches of rain. On my outside blocks where I didn't have a cover crop, I got almost nothing. Here, even with 2 inches of rain, I got 3 to 4 inches of cover crop.
So just more efficient and natural, and yeah.
It's holding water. It's holding biology. It's supporting the plants. Yeah.
So this,
anyway, back to the wine.
Yeah. I think this GSM is just a perfect spring wine as well, even though it's a red. You go from like this outdoorsy, crisp, white, or just really easy drinking
GSM's
wine?
not a heavy.
No, because of the Grenache. The Grenache is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is people think of Syrah as a heavy grape, and it's also not. It's a mid-weight grape, especially depending on when you pick it. Our Syrah gets very phenologically ripe. It means that chemically and taste-wise, it's very ripe, and you don't have to push it.
Oh, that's cool.
Grenache.
Hello, sparkling wine. What would you pair this GSM with?
Because this has that nice tannic finish,
Mm-hmm.
I would want to pair it with something that tends to be a little bit overwhelming on the palate when you eat too much of it, but you don't need to protect your palate from the front of it.
Mm.
So this would go really nice with a braised, chicken with a mushroom sauce, or a lighter red meat cut, or I would serve this with good meat tamales.
Oh, okay.
Not too spicy though. You have to be careful with the
Yeah,
spice.
you
on
want to
this
stay
one.
away from spice with this one
Especially
because
if
the
there's much
alcohol.
alcohol. Yeah, that could be a problem. What else would I put this with?
You know what I would do is
okay, we have a new seared ahi sandwich.
Yep.
Did I steal your thunder?
No, I was gonna say like a ahi or something, but I did. Yeah.
So the menu just
Good
changed
plug,
today on the Creeks. No, I just had it 2 hours ago with Melissa. This would go perfect with that because has just a tiny bit of spice, but the way it's seared, it has that kind of barbecue quality to it. And of course, ahi's almost like a red meat, but it's got that lighter quality to it.
Huh, that'd be perfect.
I would not a huge fan of a lot of pork, but a good pork cut this would go really good with a pork chop.
Yeah.
Really good.
Hot pork chops and applesauce.
And applesauce, yeah. I might laugh on the applesauce, but the pork chops would be really good.
I'm not a big meat eater, so I'd probably just, fish is exactly what I thought of, or even like a roasted chicken, something like rotisserie chicken. This would go well with some, roasted potatoes, something with some smokiness and some character to the cooking style of that particular meat.
Mm-hmm. Or in a cheese plate, if you had the smoked Gouda.
Oh yeah.
Would go really
That's
nice
one of my
with
favorites.
this. Yeah, same here.
But they just get in that they would go really well. I would stay away from spicy, like you said, because the Grenache and spicy and the alcohol just don't go together. But other than that,
yeah. So what we're doing is there's different theories in agriculture. There's regular conventional chemical agriculture.
I'm gonna drink.
There's just make yourself comfortable. It's gonna be a long explanation. There's organic agriculture, which basically tells you can't use synthetics. But then there's regenerative agriculture. And what regenerative agriculture says is that drive the system, and they drive it through photosynthesis. Plants have the unique ability to literally turn sun energy into chemical energy, which is called sugar. That's why you crave sugar. It's what drives your mitochondria and your energy system. It pumps that sugar into the soil. The microbiology of the soil gets hungry. It eats the nutrients in the soil, which aren't available to a plant. Then the plant literally pulls it into the roots, extracts the nutrients, and sends them back out. So we've recently learned with this thing called Rhizophagy that plants actually
we're gonna ask you to
farm
spell it
microbes, which is kind of cool because it means that plants aren't vegetarians.
What?
Plants take microbes, send them out into the soil, have them get nutrients, and bring them back. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
Wow.
But it's that whole cycle that you're
drink.
getting the plant function at a higher level. It produces extra sugar. It gets the microbes functioning at a higher level, so that's the plant. And you get this positive cycle going. And we've gotten to that point where I'm starting to see that flywheel develop a little bit of momentum. And I'm not just getting 1 or 2 improved results. My yields are up. My quality is way up. I used to have to spray about every 14 days. If I spray 2 and 3 times a year, it's a lot now. And I think this might be the first year. I might not even have to spray for mold.
Well,
So every year the system just gets better and better and better.
and just for the people like me that don't know the ins and outs of it, what is the benefit of having a system like that compared to maybe just trying to get as much yield? Having a farm that you're using chemicals and things to have as many grapes as you can.
So what's unique about wine is there's something called a bioassay where you can test a chemical structure or something with a biological system. Wine is a bioassay. You're getting the grape juice. It has this complex matrix, but the yeast that eats wine has evolved with the grapes that make grapes.
Okay.
And if the grape is fully expressing chemotypically, that just means the genetics are expressing the chemistry that it's at its maximum level was evolved to do, the yeast also have a maximum experience.
Yeah.
And that's when you get these subtle wines that have these indescribable experiences. That's why wine people talk about things like, these sort of like existential words, that wine is transcendent, I mean, that's a pretty outrageous claim.
Yeah.
But the biology of it is that if the yeast and the wine have co-developed in a way, and it has fermented in the tank exactly right, you get all these subtle flavors and all these subtle qualities. And there's also some theory now that says that when those things are in balance and you drink it, it's actually good for your microbiome, which is part of the French paradox. They say the French who drink really good wine will have really good health effects, and they attribute a lot of it to the red wine. And it's not just the resveratrol and those parts of the red wine. It's actually that whole microbiome system.
And I think you could just translate that into any philosophical, the balance of life and what we put in our bodies and how the food and wine is a food and that we put in really makes us healthier. So it's a difference of eating fast food and some quality food. I think the way it's grown. So it's really it's honorable to work at a winery that does what you're doing.
It is a big part of the conversation we have here at Wilson Creek is this whole idea of extended family. Well, how extended is the family, right? So,
where we've talked about sparkling wine and our sparkling wine program, but this is the newest improved flavor that we have in our repertoire here at Wilson Creek, and it actually was. It's kind of like the artist formerly known as there it goes. Okay. The artist formerly known as Prince. This is the wine formerly known as Yuzu Lemon, and we actually not only changed Yuzu Lemon. We didn't just change the flavoring profile of it to a different type of lemon, but we also changed the name to Limoncello. So if you haven't been here in a while, it looks similar probably from the camera distance here, but if you get up close, it says Limoncello on it. And we're getting rave reviews about the changes that we've made. So we're going to...
Give me a quick rinse first
so I
don't get a rosé.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Rosés are always good.
Yeah. All right. So the base wine on this, so once again, this is actually a Chardonnay-based wine, which is pretty classic. Most sparkling or champagnes are Chardonnay. This is a blend of Chardonnay and French Colombard.
A little bit of Chenin Blanc sometimes,
A little Chenin Blanc, Pinot Noir is also common in sparkling wines. We don't use Pinot because our Pinots here tend to have a lot of color.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice base, and it's a nice base for putting flavors in wines. Some people will be a little snooty about flavored wines. Even as a winemaker, I have no problem with it. There's wines that express as specific wines, and then there's wines that are just fun and nice to have. And I have no problem with wines that are fun. It's a good, solid base that has some flavor that makes for a fun wine.
And I often think about that too. The sparkling wine program is such a success here. But how many of you out there, or how many of our guests would have never been a wine drinker if you first weren't introduced to almond sparkling and kind of dabbled in some of our other products and really started creating a love for wine through something that you weren't even aware that you were a relationship you were starting. And a lot of that happens with these wines. So, cheers.
So why don't you swirl your sparkling wine? Because you really don't have to.
No, you don't. It's got the strong aromas and the flavoring that are in there. All natural flavors. So these are, come from natural components to create this lemon flavor, sparkling flavor love.
Yeah, I think this might be one of those ones, pretty much everyone loves the almond. I mean, it's just one of those kind of, it's like, wow, you didn't know those flavors went together so well. This is another one. Lemon works in a flavored sparkling really pretty well.
I think the thing about the lemon flavor, and you get it naturally in some wines. This is added in, but you get that kind of sweet and sour kind of thing. That's as for in human nature and what we find pleasurable. Most of us is that sweet and sour combination, and that's what this kind of subtly. It's more sweet than sour, but because it has that lemon flavor.
Well, lemon has that quality to it. It's It's citric acid, it's D-limonene, it's all those chemicals that normally would be a little bit repulsive.
Yeah. And I know our servers have fun with this, including the others, and mix them together. I don't know what that menu is, but some of this would, But I know that there's some combinations out there, some underground cocktails that our staff make with this limoncello.
That being said, it's part of the fun. There's
is
nothing
fun.
wrong with having fun with wine. I would just encourage, if you like the sparklings and you're starting to get a taste for the wine, come and talk to the servers. They're all trained. They know their wines. They really like the wines. It's why they work here. They can maybe take you to the next level and the next level. And maybe there's just a few levels up that you're comfortable with, and that's great.
Yeah.
Or you could become a total level 2 som geek like Ryan.
That's the second time you called me a geek this
Well, you sent me texts in the middle of the night going, hey, such and such varietal grow in this region.
I don't sleep much, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
I know
sorry.
you don't.
I'm sorry. But
How much different is this limoncello from the Yuzu Lemon?
so the yuzu, Greg, we were talking about this
Yeah.
before. In my opinion, Greg, give yours. This limoncello to me has a little bit of like a creaminess mouthfeel to
Yeah.
it, and it's more flavor without being overwhelming. About the same sugar level, so same sweetness, but it has more of that that kind of smack you in the mouth kind of lemon flavor.
So Yuzu Lemon is the same. So there's two citrus that eventually evolved to become what we call modern day lemons and modern day oranges.
Yeah.
The Yuzu was the original lemon, and something called Citrus aurantium was the original orange.
How do you know so much about stuff like this?
I'm a botanist. The Yuzu Lemon it's bitter. It has a lot of components, and eventually it was hybridized to become something that's softer, a little more palatable, but it has all those qualities of lemon.
Yeah.
So think about the Yuzu.
Limoncello.
It's like a limoncello. How can you not like a limoncello?
No, I don't know.
What would you pair it with?
What would you
Or
pair?
what would it pair well with?
Lemons. No.
Lemons, yeah.
Bars.
A bar, yeah, we go good in a bar.
Yeah.
Lemon bars. Oh, I thought you meant
Lemon
at
bars,
a bar.
yeah.
We
No.
go very good at a bar.
You know, a wine
Yeah.
like this
a
is
nightclub, go good at a nightclub.
No, yeah, probably
Well,
with food.
you know, in my opinion, that this is a really fun wine. And again, this
Yeah.
is just a wine that to just remind you not to take life a little too seriously.
Yep.
It's made to be fun. So any fun food, pizza or sandwiches, picnic stuff. I think this would go really well with spicy dishes if you like pad
Yes.
thai or
The two tricks with spice
yeah.
are either thiols, which you get at a muscat, or acid and sugar, which you get with a sparkling wine.
Yeah.
Sparkling wines are actually some of the easiest to pair because they're highly acidic and sweet at the same time.
Oh.
And because of the bubbles, they cleanse the palate. So the acid's going to cleanse the palate. So anything that tends to build up, but it cleanses the palate. So every bunch is that, I hate to admit it, but the other thing this goes really good with is Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Yeah, because it's the same things. That first, or Ruffled potato chips, or another one it goes great with. Because the first time you bite into a Ruffle, it's like, oh my God. You ever seen a little kid the first time you give them a potato chip, and they're like, oh. It's that effect over and over again.
You know what it reminds me of? Don't they have those Cheetos that are like lime, like chili lime or something?
That might be a little intense, the
That'd be
chili
really good,
lime.
yeah.
I actually like the white cheese Cheetos, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not Cheetos. What are the square ones that are cheese?
Cheez-It.
Cheez-Its, not Cheetos, Cheez-Its.
But
Thank
the
you.
lemon lime,
See, I'm not that much
yeah,
of
the
a nerd. I
lime-
don't know my junk food.
lime, Cheetos I think would go really well with this.
Lime. Doesn't go good with Lyme disease. That's
No.
a no-go.
And this does not cure scurvy. There's no
No.
vitamin C in this, so.
Well, there's a little bit.
Is there?
A little bit in the champagne, yeah, not much. Actually, probably a little bit in the lemon, too.
Yeah. So we're really excited about this new flavor. You guys know we have the watermelon that's fairly new as well. That's kind of came out about the same time as this. But the limoncello's just been really taken off. And just with a little alteration in the flavoring and the name, we've seen a real difference in the improvement of this wine. So we're really excited.
One thing I noticed about when I first tried this wine is when you first pour it, because the lemon is such a strong lemon flavor,
Yeah.
it's a tiny bit overwhelming in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you use a flute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because the flute concentrates
It
those
concentrates
bubbles
the
and
aromas.
Yeah.
If you give it this might be our only sparkling wine that I would say give it, not a lot of time, a minute to breathe. Just a tiny bit. Because when you first smell, it's like, whoa, it's a little intense. And then, like right now, I'm about to pour my third pour. This is really pleasant. It's just a pleasant drink.
Have you
I
seen
mean,
people?
hell,
have you
I'm enjoying your company. That's how good this is.
I don't think people give time for the wine. Since COVID is
It's
loosening
true.
up, people just want to get out here and drink as fast as they can. But I don't blame them. Been cooped up. But
But I love it that we have a sparkling wine that could open up a little bit.
no, there you go.
That's really nice.
Really nice. All right, so just to update everybody on a couple different things that are going on here at the winery. If you haven't been here in a while, we have been busy. I think, there's not a whole lot to go around, and everybody just wants to feel loved, and that's what we do so great here at Wilson Creek Winery. So we've been busy, especially on the weekends, so we really appreciate your patience as we're still going through the CDC guidelines and managing everybody coming through. But starting really soon, we're going to be open for evenings until 8 o'clock on Fridays and Saturday nights, as well as this beautiful room that if you could see behind you, there's a lot of boxes of wine still. We're setting up, and really soon our new reserve room experience, which is open to the public, is going to be launched, and we're going to have a reserve flight and some great bites and things like that for all of the guests to be able to book and come in and enjoy a really refined tasting experience. So that's coming really, really soon. So we're really excited about that. So all those things and plus more are coming down the pike, especially as things start opening up.
And we're kind of slowly getting back to normal. We've been talking about...
You've never been normal.
Oh, okay, that's true. We're going back to what was before.
Yeah.
We're talking about Wine Academy again. We have some Wine Academies lined up. It'll be for wine club members, obviously. But, the one benefit about the whole COVID thing and us doing more stuff online...
Yeah.
If there are classes that you guys would love to do, if there's stuff that you'd like to learn about, if you'd like to maybe do Wine Academy online, let us know. I mean, this is actually kind of a cool platform, and in a way, these wine tastings that we have done have been really fun for us because we don't get to just sit down and hang out with the wines as often as we'd like. And it's nice to be able to talk with you and Gus and with everyone out there and talk about the wines and get feedback. I love some of the questions. Actually, I love all the questions, but I've had some just showstopper questions.
Yeah.
It's
really
a ton
enjoyable.
of fun. So if you guys out there have some stuff that you want to see more of or have suggestions or you want to see more Wine Academy, let us know because your feedback really helps. The challenge is we get not only seller palate, we get seller perspective.
Yeah.
Is we're here all the time. And so we love to hear from you as to what it's like to come visit and what it's like to experience the winery and what you would enjoy.
And everything we do is for you. So we love your feedback and send it our way. And virtual tastings like these, we can't get enough, huh?
Yeah, it's people often ask what I do for a job, and I say I don't have one. I'm a winemaker.
You're lucky.
We have the best non-jobs ever.
Hey, why'd you loop me in that?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, just
I'm just kidding.
People always ask, what's it like to work here? And it's like it's so not like a job.
It's great.
Just great.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be in a place that we're able to make something cool like wine. We're able to actually
Be
hang
around
out with our
great people.
guests.
Yeah.
I love it that we know our wine club members, that we're big. I mean, we're a pretty big fish, pretty big fish in a pretty big pond. No, a pretty big fish in a relatively small pond, however that goes. But we still know a lot of the wine club members. And, there's an intimacy here that's nice. And there's, I was just having lunch in the cafe with my partner, Melissa, and Rosie came down and sat down with us. And it's just, that's Wilson Creek. The family's here, the dogs are here. Rosie's dog and our dog hung out together. That's part of being Wilson Creek.
Spring is definitely in the air when the dogs are kind of running around together.
That's true.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Spring is definitely in the air. And again, these are 3 picks that we picked for the spring. And
these are good spring choices.
Spring choices. For
Any one of these wines would be a really nice spring sunset wine.
Yep.
Depending on your mood. If you're feeling light and happy, I would definitely go with the spring white. If you wanted just something that's off the charts joy, do the Limoncello. If you're a little more thoughtful and brooding and are going to go listen to some Shakespeare afterwards, I would do the GSM.
Wow, that got deep.
That got deep.
Well, happy spring, everybody. We look forward to seeing you. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you, as always, everyone. Cheers.
Yeah.